So Sukuna Kaisen has returned for chapter 258 of JJK. And you know what that means. That means that Sukuna is going hard this chapter, ending with the moment that every single Sukuna fan has been waiting for, and that is the return of the famous words. So in the previous chapter, we left off with Yuji delivering an 8th Black Flash on Sukuna after awakening Sukuna's shrine technique and pretty much dominating him the entire chapter. But many people that know Gege probably knew that this would be a pretty short-lived thing for Yuji. For some reason, Gege can't manage to hype up another character that's not Sukuna for more than like 1 or 2 chapters in a row. But as we're about to see the way this chapter begins, the Yuji hype is officially over, at least for now, because this chapter begins with the narrator explaining that after hitting 2 Black Flashes, Gojo constructed a special RCT circuit due to being awakened. Sukuna was also supposed to regenerate all of his arms, but due to Yuji's 7 Black Flashes, he couldn't regain his RCT output. But the narrator mentions that Yuji specifically hit Black Flashes right in between Sukuna and Megumi's soul realms. So 2 main things to take away from that. Number 1, something we didn't know is that Gojo developed a new RCT circuit after delivering all of his Black Flashes during his fight with Sukuna. Now, I don't know why Gojo keeps getting brought up here. Like, I am of the belief that the dude is gone forever, you know what I mean? I don't think he's coming back, but like, also at the same time, why is Gege still bringing in these little details about Gojo and his fight with Sukuna? Are these, quote, new RCT circuits gonna come into play here? Gonna play into his possible revival? I don't know, but that's not what this is about. Because we also found out that Yuji is so good with acknowledging souls that he was able to distinguish where he was striking his Black Flashes. So it turns out that Yuji is not harming Megumi at all with these Black Flashes. But then we get the first massive shock of this chapter. Sukuna instantly uses domain expansion Malevolent Shrine. Then the narrator says the king's domain had returned to its master along with the black sparks. So to kick off Sukuna Kaisen, we see him using his Malevolent Shrine. And it looks completely different. It doesn't look like the original one. And it's about to explain why in a second. Right now it looks like this floating amalgamation curse in the air. And the next bit kind of explains exactly why this is happening. Everything surrounding Sukuna starts to get slashed. Despite including uncertain elements and including binding vows, Ryomen Sukuna had replicated Malevolent Shrine without dropping its effective range or output after experiencing the Black Flash. It was also mentioned that a little bit of text was cut off from this panel explaining all of this, so there might be some more details that we're missing here in these leaks, but I'm sure you guys are going to let me know in the comments once we get that information out. I'll probably pin it in the comment section at the top, so just, be on the lookout for that. But the main thing that we can take away from this right now is that apparently Sukuna has awakened like a new side of his domain, almost like a Malevolent Shrine 2.0 or something. But first we get a flashback. Hikari says it's important to learn RCT and countermeasures to domains for this fight. Choso says that if it's about RCT, him and Yuji can manage somehow. Yuji wonders how. And this random flashback is about to be very relevant in a minute, so just hang with me here. Choso then asks how RCT users compensate for the blood they lose when they regenerate their body. Hikari and Yuta couldn't answer, but Shoko says she converts cursed energy into blood. So that's another new thing that we learn here. When you use RCT, you also are converting cursed energy into blood, which would make sense because the flesh has to come from somewhere, but I never thought of it in the sense of it being almost the same exact thing as Choso's curse technique, blood manipulation. That's essentially what he does with his curse technique. He converts cursed energy into blood, and that's why he never runs out of it like somebody like Noritoshi Kamo. Well, touching on what I just said, Choso says his body allows him to convert his cursed energy into blood, and if Yuji consumes his remaining brothers, he can gain their curse technique and the same properties as Choso, to be able to convert cursed energy into blood. Choso also says that the downside of using RCT, which is a large amount of cursed energy consumption, is also not a concern for them due to their special bodies. So in this sea of just massive Sukuna hype, we at least find out about a little upgrade that Yuji got right here. Since he now has blood manipulation as well, RCT is apparently not going to be as taxing on him as it would be somebody else. And that makes sense because, having blood manipulation, you're more than likely going to be very efficient in converting cursed energy into blood, which is the primary thing you need to do apparently for RCT. Well, this is all great and some pretty good new information, but that's nothing compared to a massive bombshell that also drops next, because Choso asks Yuji to be paired with someone who can use RCT when they do the body swapping training. Yuji is confused and Ui reveals that with the help of his curse technique, he can even swap the souls between human beings. So boom, there we go. This is the big reveal of the body swapping technique. Everybody thought that it was going to be Yuji's. Everybody, including myself, thought that he was going to learn it from that book that Yuki gave him or something, or some other type of off-screen training that he did. But no, it's not Yuji's ability. It is Ui Ui's, of all freaking people, right? Kusakabe says since Sukuna took over Yuji's body and used his curse technique, Yuji's body now remembers Jujutsu of a special grade, so they can plan to do the same with soul swap training. Kusakabe will first swap with Yuji's soul and teach basic cursed energy manipulation and simple domain to Yuji's body. So the translation is a little bit rough here, but what I'm getting from this, what Kusakabe is trying to do here with this soul swapping technique is do some form of accelerated training, kind of like a pseudo version of that time in Naruto where Naruto was learning how to do various things throughout all of his clones, which expedited his learning process. Kusakabe is trying to do something similar here, where he swaps souls with Yuji into his body and he starts doing training regarding basic cursed energy principles and also learning simple domain. Since Kusakabe already knows how to do it, he could just do it over and over again in Yuji's body, and in a way it'll kind of be engraved in his body, or muscle memory will kind of kick in. That's kind of the idea here, therefore allowing Yuji to use these abilities without ever really learning how to do it himself. Well, Ui Ui says to pick wisely, because you can apparently only soul swap twice in 1 month. So it's important that they bring up twice there, because he obviously did it once when training with Kusakabe, meaning that there's probably one other time that Yuji can do it, probably going to be very relevant in this fight. But all this flashback stuff goes to explain exactly what happens in this next page, because out of nowhere Yuji uses new shadow style simple domain against Sukuna's domain. Yuji then notices that Sukuna's domain is incomplete and there's some loophole so he can endure it. The narrator reveals that Sukuna can't maintain this high level domain for a long time, and also can't capture Maki, who has no cursed energy, within his domain. So I think that little nugget of information about Maki there is going to be important, probably indicating that Maki is not done here. I'm hoping she comes in at another clutch time like she did before, but the chapter continues by saying that Sukuna's Malevolent Shrine will collapse after 99 seconds. Yuki, Maki, Ino, Choso try to endure the rampage. So I don't know how many panels I'm going to be able to show here in this video, but taking a look at this, it's like a double spread of just like absolute rampaging across the city. Like this massive like super tornado at the center of it, and all the aforementioned people just kind of struggling to hang on. It's pretty freaking insane. It's like literally apocalyptic. Well, things just get worse because Yuji's simple domain barrier cracks, as it couldn't withstand Sukuna's domain slashes. Yuji gets slashed and he loses his left foot, but he's still unfazed. He notices that the slashes stopped and thinks that they endured the onslaught, and before I get to the but, because it's a big but, we just see Yuji get absolutely annihilated by these slashes. Like, it's pretty freaking brutal. But like it says, just when Yuji thinks that he endured the worst of it, Sukuna immediately brings out the flames. Here we go, guys, the famous words, Fuga. We're finally seeing the flame arrows again. Of course, meaning that next chapter, we're gonna get hopefully the full explanation about this freaking ability, finally. Unfortunately, it's not gonna happen for 2 weeks because we also are on break next week, which is a bummer, but whatever. This chapter was completely amazing. No complaints from me, but let me know what you guys think about this chapter in the comments below. I'm gonna be doing a much more in-depth video about this chapter, and honestly the last 2 chapters, so make sure you subscribe and be on the lookout for that. That is it for this one though. Have an absolutely wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, whatever, and I'll see you guys in the next video.